First off, I think Nollywood needs to take a more business-oriented approach. We need to focus on better structures for production, distribution, and marketing.
Welcome back to the channel, my laughing headliners. Thank you so much for coming back each time. In fact, your support is a great source of encouragement to the team. Now let's turn to the reason why we are here. In an industry often associated with glitz and glamour, Nollywood veteran Bimbo Akintola has never shied away from speaking her truth. Known for her no-nonsense approach to life, she recently stirred controversy with comments about the wide income disparity between her colleagues. She openly questioned how some actresses fund their lavish lifestyles, suggesting that not all of their wealth comes from acting alone. In this exclusive interview, Bimbo gets candid about the pressures women in Nollywood face to maintain appearances, the often unspoken connections between politicians and actresses, and how the industry's moral compass may be shifting. She also offers powerful insights on the true measure of success, and shares advice for younger actresses entering the industry. Laughing headliners, prepare for an eye-opening conversation with one of Nollywood's most respected actresses, as Bimbo Akintola pulls back the curtain on the reality behind the fame. Welcome to the show, Bimbo.
Thank you.
Bimbo, you stirred the waters recently with your comments about income disparity in Nollywood. Let's start with this. Do you think Nollywood as an industry has failed to properly compensate its actors and actresses? Or do you think the wealth of some is simply extra work outside the film set?
It's no secret that the money from acting alone isn't enough to make anyone super wealthy in Nollywood. We all know what we earn from films. I think the industry has definitely not done enough to ensure that actors, especially women, are fairly compensated. But some of that wealth you see in actresses comes from outside the film set. Whether it's from endorsements, business ventures, or, let's be honest, sometimes from dating wealthy people. Everyone has their own hustle.
But the Nollywood industry can only pay what it can afford based on its financial capacity. Is there anything else the industry can do to bridge this gap?
I agree that Nollywood can only pay what it can afford based on its current financial situation. But that doesn't mean the system shouldn't improve. If the industry wants to grow, it needs to invest more in talent and infrastructure, find ways to attract more funding, and create opportunities for actors to earn better from their craft. We can't just accept the status quo and blame it on low budgets. There's room for improvement, and it starts with valuing the people who make Nollywood what it is. Its actors, directors, and crew.
If there's room for improvement, what then do you suggest the industry does to get there?
First off, I think Nollywood needs to take a more business-oriented approach. We need to focus on better structures for production, distribution, and marketing. If the industry is going to grow, it needs to be more professional in how it operates. We can't rely on the same old methods and expect things to change. I think actors need more negotiation power. There should be unions or bodies that advocate for fair pay and proper working conditions. Too many people are willing to accept low rates just to get a role, and that hurts everyone in the long run. If we have stronger organizations looking out for the interests of actors and crew, it would force producers to be more competitive with wages. Third, Nollywood needs more partnerships both locally and internationally. We need to collaborate with global platforms and filmmakers, not only for funding, but to improve the quality of our films. We've seen what happens when Nollywood productions hit Netflix or other global platforms. It's a huge opportunity for exposure and better earnings. Lastly, transparency in funding and revenue is crucial. We need to know how much films are truly making and how that money is being distributed. If the finances of Nollywood are more transparent, it will lead to better accountability and, hopefully, better compensation.
You mentioned some actresses are involved with politicians or come from rich families. Are you implying that there is an underbelly in Nollywood where actresses are rewarded by those in power for reasons that have nothing to do with acting talent?
I'm not implying anything. It's an open secret in this industry. Some actresses have benefactors, politicians, businessmen who sponsor their lifestyles. It's not necessarily about acting talent or how many box office hits you have. It's about who you know or who you're connected to. There are those who are genuinely talented and have carved out a niche through hard work. But we also know some actresses rely on outside sources for their wealth. I don't judge them. It's just the reality.
That's interesting because in a country like Nigeria, where wealth is often linked to power, are you saying there's almost a second career for actresses off-screen? One that involves playing into the hands of wealthy men in exchange for a luxurious lifestyle.
Oh, no. I wouldn't call it a second career. It's a choice some people make. Maybe they feel they need to maintain a certain lifestyle, or they want to keep up with appearances. Yes, in some cases, people use their looks and connections to benefit from the wealth of powerful men. But let's not pretend like this only happens in Nollywood. It's everywhere. This happens in every industry. You will find it in politics, in business, everywhere. That depends on your morals. But it's happening, and anyone pretending otherwise is simply naive.
And do you think that can affect the integrity of the entire industry, making it harder for those relying solely on their craft to succeed?
Absolutely. It creates a false standard for success. Young actresses coming into Nollywood might think they need to look a certain way or get involved with certain people to make it. That's damaging to the industry because it's no longer about the work or talent. I've been around for a long time, and I've seen many talented actresses pushed aside because they didn't play the game or were not willing to compromise their integrity. It's frustrating, and it devalues the profession.
You've been in Nollywood for decades and are highly respected. But when you speak about not being as financially secure as some of your colleagues, do you feel that their wealth reflects poorly on your career or choices? Or do you think you're simply more transparent about the realities of being an actress in Nigeria?
I don't feel like it reflects poorly on me at all. I'm proud of the career I've built, and I've always been transparent about who I am and what I have. I don't live to impress people. My choices have always been guided by what I believe in, not what society expects of me. If I'm not as wealthy as some of my colleagues, that's fine. At least I can sleep at night knowing I earned what I have through hard work and my craft. Wealth doesn't define success for me.
Let's take this further. If there is a silent acknowledgement that actresses dating politicians is a thing, do you think it's a moral issue? Is this something Nollywood as an industry should be concerned about? Or should this be left to personal choices? Where do we draw the line between private life and professional integrity?
It's tricky, isn't it? Morality is subjective. What's morally right for one person may not be for another. I think the line should be drawn when it starts affecting the integrity of the industry. If actresses are being chosen for roles or gaining success based on who they're involved with rather than their talent, then yes, that's a problem. But people's private lives are their own business. Nollywood as an industry can't police personal relationships. However, we should be concerned about how these relationships influence public perceptions and career opportunities.
How about male actors? You've mainly spoken about actresses. Is there a reason we don't hear much about men in Nollywood being part of this wealthy outside the industry narrative? Do you think this is an issue of gender, where women face more scrutiny or pressure to maintain appearances?
It's definitely a gender issue. Men in Nollywood don't face the same kind of scrutiny or pressure. No one is asking male actors why they're driving certain cars or wearing designer clothes. But for women, it's different. There's an expectation for actresses to look glamorous and wealthy all the time. If you're not keeping up with that, people start talking. Society puts more pressure on women to maintain appearances. And that's why you hear more about actresses in these situations than actors.
You've spoken about societal pressure on actresses regarding their lifestyles. Some might argue that this pressure is self-inflicted. After all, actresses are aware of their earnings. Why do you think many allow public opinion to dictate their lifestyle choices?
That's a valid point, and I see where you're coming from. It's true that many actresses know their financial reality. However, the entertainment industry thrives on image and perception. Many feel compelled to project a certain lifestyle to remain relevant or to attract more opportunities. They believe that if they don't showcase a luxurious life, they might not get the roles they want or be taken seriously. Also, there's a culture of comparison. Social media amplifies this. Actresses see their peers living extravagant lifestyles, and they might feel pressured to keep up, even if it means stretching their finances or engaging in questionable choices. It's a toxic cycle where the desire to be seen as successful overshadows the reality of their financial situation. That said, I do think it's essential for individuals to find their own worth and not base it on external opinions. The industry could benefit from more open conversations about financial literacy and self-acceptance. We need to encourage a culture where actresses can celebrate their success without feeling the need to conform to an unrealistic standard.
You mentioned that people often compare you with wealthier colleagues. How do you handle that comparison? Do you ever feel pressure to match that level of wealth? Especially considering how social media magnifies these expectations.
It used to bother me, but not anymore. I've learned to block out the noise. People will always compare, but I've stayed true to myself. Social media can create unrealistic expectations, but I refuse to let that dictate my life. I live within my means, and I'm happy. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. If you're always chasing other people's standards, you'll never be satisfied.
Finally, if you were to advise younger actresses stepping into this world, how would you counsel them in navigating this treacherous terrain? Should they aspire to the fame and wealth they see? Or is there something more meaningful that they should hold on to?
I would tell them to hold on to their integrity. Fame and wealth are fleeting. What matters is your legacy, how you're remembered, and the impact you've had. Don't let social media or society pressure you into compromising your values. Focus on your craft, work hard, and stay true to yourself. At the end of the day, success that comes from integrity and hard work is far more rewarding than anything money can buy.
Bimbo, it's been an enlightening conversation. Your honesty and boldness in addressing these controversial topics are truly commendable. As we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with those navigating the complex world of Nollywood?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak so openly. I just want to remind people, especially the younger generation, that success is not about wealth or social media likes. It's about your talent, integrity, and how you make an impact. Stay true to yourself, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters.
And with that, we close this fascinating and thought-provoking interview. Bimbo Akintola remains a force to be reckoned with, not just on the screen, but off it too. Her perspective is a reminder that there is more to success than meets the eye. And integrity in Nollywood is still something worth fighting for. Viewers, thank you for watching. Kindly like, share this video, and ultimately subscribe to the channel and become a laughing headliner. Wait to see. Until next time, take good care of yourselves.